Welcome in allowing the beloved 7-day intensive course, and with the focus on the beloved. And the question is, what the heck is the beloved? So it's a beautiful word, and when we kind of talk about the beloved, it gives us a feeling. And this feeling is coming from inside. It's not something which is coming from outside immediately. Something is touched. And of course what is touched has something to do with the heart. With the whole area of feeling, sentience. For some people, there is a strong connection between the beloved and God. And that's maybe interesting kind of to look to this a little bit. If we are religious, we believe that we, as part of the universe, and I think as an inseparable part of the universe, are created by God. And it's not so important, I think, if this is your belief or you just say, okay, the universe is there, I have no idea where it's coming from. But if you look to the act of creation, then what we look, or how the universe is built right now, what we look at is that we are living right now in a physical body, in a physical universe. And this universe is moving according to polarities. That means we've got up and down, we've got heavy and light, we've got good and bad. So to be able to understand this universe as it is built, we have to also think in polarities. But then when you talk about the beloved, or you talk about God, then we are talking about something which is not moving in polarities, which is beyond polarity. So in talking about the beloved, basically we are talking about a space inside yourself which is not a polarity, which you kind of can find unity or oneness. So there is a little bit a problem with polarities. That's that we in our mind have the tendency to kind of choose one of the polarities and not want to get the other one. We want to be good most of the times, or maybe some people really want to be bad. But if you want to be bad, you don't really want to be good. And when you want to be good, you don't really want to be bad. And of course we brought up in a way that we want to be good. And the bad part of ourselves, we kind of, we need to get rid of a little bit, repress, get a little bit rid of it. And then there is this strong belief that, if we work hard on ourselves and we kind of invest in the good, what we call the good side of ourselves, we will become better human beings. So the first thing to think about this is, to become better human beings already gives the implication that we are not good as we are. So something should be better. But do we really know what we are? So So when you look into this, in striving to be good, we have the tendency to reject or resist or have an aversion inside ourselves and outside ourselves of what we kind of perceive as bad. So the real problem is not, the game we are playing. I'm calling this a game because it is really a game, it's not real. It's like playing a poker game in daily life. It's not based on the depth of ourselves. It's not based on something which is moving beyond polarity. It's kind of, all the time in this polarity playing around. This is good, this is bad, I need to be like this, I don't want to be like that. Oh my God, I was so angry. So that must have a cause. And the cause cannot be me because I'm good. So I was so angry because of. So in this, basically what we're doing is we're playing around and we kind of get invested in a way in accusing, feeling guilty. Get invested in blaming others for our own emotions, blaming others for our own feelings. And it's not only that we are doing this individual, but we also do this collective. So this whole movement in polarity of the mind, we need to think in polarity. The mind can only kind of move in polarity. Our mind, our brain, is part of the physical world. So it works physical. And that means that it thinks in polarity. And in this, it's the most beautiful tool we have in a way. All our genius, which I can be amazed about almost every day. Yesterday I said to Saralyn, it's really kind of, how did people ever invent bread? it's genius, if you think about it. There are so many things we kind of invented, and often by accident, but then to pick it up and to think it through, to come to understanding, to kind of refine it. It's an incredible genius. It's a tool. It's a tool through which we can express human genius. And human genius has an incredible potential. It's really beautiful. But it's not what we are. When we look to this human genius, when we look to this mind, so when can we use our mind most freely? When we are not too much entangled with the result or what it has to be. Or when we're not in a contraction. When we give the mind the freedom to kind of, to move in all directions possible. And that means that if we give our minds the freedom to move in all directions possible, that we don't identify with our thoughts as being us. Are we what we are thinking? Already when I pose the question, it sounds crazy. Are we what we are thinking? Are you the house which you are building? Are you the garden you make? Are you your relationship? Are you the children you have? Are you your job? Or are you the one who is able to think? So the moment we kind of move a little bit inside, and kind of less identify with what we're thinking, but kind of move into the position of the one who is able to think, this is already a tiny little step inwards. And that frees the thinking. If we identify with what we think, we get into trouble. Because then, we're not allowed to think this, and we're not allowed to think that, and if we think this, we're really bad. And when we think this, we're really good. And we should have a head full of forgiving thoughts. And then, very quickly, what's happening is that we move in kind of an arrogance. In a polarity, which is also a kind of arrogance. When we kind of move into forgiving thoughts, we have to forgive. What do we have to forgive? We have to forgive the other. So then we move in a polarity if it's from thought of acceptance or rejection. So this is quite an important polarity, because we're caught in this polarity. Most of us are caught in these polarities. We so much want to be seen. We so much want to be accepted. And when we are seen and we are accepted, then we are loved. Maybe. And when we are rejected, we are not loved. We are bad. So the first thing is that, who are we to accept or reject another person? Again, it's a spiel, it's a game. It's moving into polarity, and both acceptance and rejection is power-based. There is no equality in it. I accept you. I reject you. I accept this. I reject this. It's giving authority to yourself to reject or accept another person, and it's giving especially authority to others to accept or reject you. So when we look to this polarity, acceptance and rejection, it's a very important polarity. And what would be behind it? What do we lose when we kind of find ourselves entangled in this polarity? Sorry?
The beloved.
Behind it, we could find the beloved. Or, to give it another word, as an aspect of the beloved, it's being. You just are. You have the freedom to be what you are. And the beloved has this strong connection also with being, with the whole level of being. So, when I went to my teacher, Bob Moore, and we got some question from somebody, what is the highest a human can achieve? And everybody was there working on himself and kind of, going for an enlightenment. And so everybody was waiting to hear enlightenment. That's not what he said. He said naturalness. This is the highest what we can achieve, to be natural. And it took me some years, but I think he's right. So when we talk about naturalness and being, so we're talking also about our human nature. And then again, when we look to the human nature, is that something you can trust? Can we trust nature? I think that the human nature is not so different from nature itself. We are part of nature. We are part of creation. We are part of life on this planet. And it seems to me that we are really moving according to the same laws. Except that we are not sure, but we probably have this really amazing tool, the mind, which seems to be less developed in animals or in trees, in birds, in fishes, but we're not sure. So is this nature? Can we trust nature? It seems that people who are really close to nature and living in nature, they don't have a difficulty to trust nature. They trust nature for what it is. It means that if you're stupid, nature will hurt you. If you're more, and when we are really stupid, when we're kind of not attuned to nature itself, but the more we attuned or find ourselves to be attuned to nature, the more we're able to trust nature. And maybe this is the same with our inner nature. The more we are attuned to our inner nature, the more we can trust our nature. And when I talk about our nature, there is different levels. We have our physical nature, and we have the nature of our thinking, and we have the nature of our being. And all of this, when you look into it, is when we want to move to our naturalness, it demands some surrender. A surrender to our physical, as it is right now, here. For many, many years I have been working with healing and have been teaching healing, and the healing is very much also connected with the physical, and mostly connected with the attitude towards the physical. And it seems the more we can find peace with our physical body as it is right now, the more the physical body is able to heal itself. The more we fight against symptoms or against appearances or against an illness, the more we get entangled, the more stressful it becomes for the body, and the more difficult it is for the body to heal itself. So the first step is to kind of try to surrender to the needs of the body. And when I say this, often what I hear, yeah, but if I surrender to the needs of my body, I will become very fat. Because my body wants to eat all the time. This may be true. So when you surrender to the needs of the body, maybe what comes forward first, if this is the case, is a kind of dissatisfaction. Or a kind of emptiness, or and then it's important to take this dissatisfaction serious. This is part of the surrender to the body. Not to try to get rid of it as quickly as possible. Take it seriously, experience it, see what is driving this dissatisfaction, what's driving this emptiness. Where is this coming from? What does the body really need? So, and when we look to what does our body really need, what does the body need most of all? To feel safe and to feel relaxed. That's really when well-being is coming forward. And aside of feeling safe and relaxed, the body also likes some excitement now and then. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, everything's smoother.
So, if we really think about it, if we kind of more surrender to the needs of the body, would that bring us into a lot of trouble? Would that bring us into situations which are really kind of devastating or destructive?
So you're making a distinction between your mind here. So what the body needs is different from what the mind would say it needs.
So the question is, again, let's kind of skip apart and move to the mind. So, what do you think that the mind needs to be able to function optimal?
The same things as the body, feel safe. And
To feel safe and relaxed.
And to have some unexpected.
Input,
Yeah,
excitement.
yeah, excitement. Yeah. It would be pretty boring to just be sitting. Could
I like it.
You know, there is this thing of the mind. If we are very, very tensed and we really don't feel well, and a lot of things have to happen, and there's a lot of stress. So basically, both the body and the mind, in a way, are moving towards the future. We are, in our thoughts, are moving towards a moment that we can relax and can open up. So later on, you know, after this hard working day and cleaning the house, I will have a hike in nature, and then I can open up and relax. And then when we have this hike in nature, what's happening is that all kind of ideas start to kind of pop up in the mind. Often we find solutions. So it's very much the same as the body. The moment that we kind of, you know, feel more relaxed and less stressful, the mind functions better. So it's maybe an illusion to think that if we put a lot of pressure and we have to kind of, you know, finish things as quickly as possible, that the mind kind of will function better. It's maybe that, you know, when we relax more and do the things in the moment as they come, and try to be more in the moment, that the mind functions better as kind of, you know, postponing and thinking about the future, placing things in the future. And part of placing things in the future is placing the finishing of a task in the future. It seems a little bit crazy to, if you have to do something, just to start it and to see when it finishes. Because we need this time frame. But would it make a difference if we start the things we have to do and we just do them? Would it make a difference in when you finish it, if you kind of push yourself to finish it or not push yourself to finish it? Maybe it makes a difference in time. Maybe we need a little bit more time. But then something magical is happening, because, you know, there's one of the other things which are coming forward, which is so much connected with the beloved, connected with being, and this is this beautiful, beautiful human thing we call care. We all care. This is something, we can lose the connection with care, but we all care. Also, care is a non-dual position inside ourselves. We all care. We're angry, you know, maybe at our government, or angry at our neighbor, the teacher of our children. We're angry with our husband. We're angry with with whoever. Why are we angry? Because we care. Without care, there is very little anger. You don't give a shit. But it makes a difference for us. We care. We get upset because we care. So when you look to care, if we do something with care, we're connected with what we're doing. This is often when we kind of move into a hobby. When we have a hobby, we do it with care. And then it gives us a feeling of fulfillment. It's worthwhile. So care is important ingredient of fulfillment. So if you start something and you do it with care, maybe you need more time, but you're really connected to what you're doing. And this is especially also important when you work with people. It's a total different feeling if you go to a physiotherapist who kind of, does the thing with you and has some machines and whatever, and you don't feel that you're cared for, or a physiotherapist who's using the same machines but also is touching you with care. That makes a total difference. Also the result is different, I think. But would you go to a physiotherapist who is said to be very good but has no care? So care as a non-dual position is bringing us into being. So this is the third aspect. We have the mind, that's the physical body, and in between is the state of being, or is the beloved, which is behind being. So the more we move with care, the more we move into a state of being. The more we move out of daily conflict. It's important to understand that the moment we kind of, we move into our busy mind, or we move with our mind into a conflict, we move in a kind of contraction. We lose our freedom. The moment we move into polarity and believe that, in polarity as being what we are, or the reality of us, or defining us, we move into contraction. We lose ourselves. And part of, I kind of try to finish this circle, part of this losing ourselves is that we have this tendency to give others the authority to tell who we are. Am I okay or am I not okay? Do I do good or don't I do good? Am I acceptable or am I not acceptable? It's not coming from an inner feeling, from being that this is right. This is okay. This is attuned. This is in balance. It's like we have to be something or somebody else. And this is very much driven by the mind. And in this, the mind is our blessing, but also our curse. And there's one thing which is really important to understand, because we talk about intelligence, which maybe differs from animals and from plants. We're talking about the way we're thinking. So what's the drive behind it? What's the essence of the difference which is there? What the trees and animals have less as us? What is the magic behind our thinking? How is this possible? What is the quality there? We have more, maybe, as animals or trees. So when you really kind of look to the bottom line, to the quench, imagination. We imagine to be different. We imagine to be something else. We imagine how it should be. I don't think that a cat is imagining how it should be. But this is imagination. So to imagine how a house would look like and to be able to analyze this and to build a house is a beautiful, beautiful tool. But that's not what we are. We are not what we imagine to be. We are the one who's able to imagine. So, or to say it in a different way, are we the dream or are we the dreamer?